Hey everybody, Clay Nelson here with the BASSics. Today's video I wanted to cover what they call the number system. So as musicians, sometimes you learn your songs and your chord progressions as bass players, and you got that stuff down and you're ready to go, and when you get to the gig, when you get to where you're playing, maybe there's a new person singing, maybe there's a change for some reason and they change keys on you. Well then, you've already learned that progression and those notes, and this is an easy way to transpose. Well, it's just a fancy word of being able to change keys. And so instead of sticking to the notes that you know, it's a more broad way of understanding the music theory behind the chord progression, so that then when they change keys on you, you're not freaking out because you can just adjust right with them. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So to start on the number system, you kind of have to have a little bit of basic knowledge of what scales are. I'm not going to go into too much details in this video on the different notes of scales and the different scales, but you have to talk about them a little bit. So mainly I'm going to keep using the C major scale today. The reason I want to use that is because there's no sharps or flats. It's all white keys on a piano. So to be easier to explain this to you, I think using that. I'm just going to go over the basics of what the number system is in theory. All right, so this is a keyboard, obviously, in case you didn't know though. We're going to zoom in on just one octave, and like I said, we're going to talk about the C major scale. So the C is always the left of the two black keys. Everywhere you go on a keyboard is always a C on the left. So talking about the number system, we have to first talk about a little bit about scale. The major scale in C is starting on a C, and you just go up all the white keys. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. C is a repeat, it's just an octave. So then when you are talking about the number system, you want to take the numbers and put them to the corresponding letters in that key. So there's 8 notes in a scale, and you just put the numbers to the equal note. So C in this, so in the key of C, which is what we're in, this is the 1. It's also referred to as the root or the tonic. The 1 is the key note. So in C major, 1 is C. So then you just start counting up numbers per note. So C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, and then C would be 8, but because it's we don't say 8, we just say 1 again because it repeats itself, because then it would keep going 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So then let's take a very simple chord progression and talk about that here. So in the key of C, there's normally, let's just do like a typical like Christian song. So you start with the 1, which is the tonic, which is the key, C major. So that you start with 1, then you would go to a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which would be G. And then so you go. So C to G is 1 to 5, and then you would go to the 6, which is minor, A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then down to the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, F. And so that sounds like this. So then now let's look at a actual notated chart like you would see. I'm just going to stick with Christian music because this is very helpful in Christian music. There's always people that change keys when you're coming up to play, and you normally look at sheet music like this. So let's look at this song. Everyone kind of knows this, Amazing Grace. We're going to change the key to F, but it's the same principle. And so in this song, it's got the letters written for each of the chords. And I'm going to put a number beside each one so you can kind of see the correlation. And we're just I'm going to go through the whole song and let you listen to it and then just kind of make a couple of points. right, so as we just saw, that was Amazing Grace in F major. I just wanted to reiterate a couple of things. Everything's pretty much self-explanatory, I think, but I added the numbers to each of the chords so that you can kind of see how they relate. If you look down at the bottom, down here where the scale is, I just wanted to emphasize what the notes are in this particular scale. I know we just talked about C, but this one is in F. So in this one, the root, the tonic is F, and then this is the scale. F is 1, G is 2, A is 3, B flat is the 4th, C is 5, D is 6, and 7 is E. And then F would be 8, but it's the 1 because it would just repeat itself. And so as you look through the chords of the song, I would suggest, as you're going through songs, instead of memorizing or learning the chord names of each measure or progression, instead of getting like 2 measures of F followed by B flat in your head, try to start thinking of the numbers in your head. So in this particular key, you're looking at 1 for 2 measures. As a bass player, you don't normally play the 7. So as a bass player, you would play 1 for 2 measures and then go to the 4, which is the B flat, and then back to the 1 for 2 measures to the 2. Now this is a secondary chord because it's got a B natural, which isn't in the key, but you're not going to play that as a bass player typically, and you're not really going to play the 7 unless you do a walk down. So you're just going to play the name of the chord, the G, which in this case is a 2. So then from the 1 to the 2, and then to the 5 for 2 measures. And I think, and so forth and so on. I think if you do that as you learn songs, then you won't be so tied to the names of the chords, and you'll be able to transpose a lot faster and a lot easier when someone changes the key on you. And so thinking of it in that way, it really helps you moving forward as you're playing with different people when they change the key. So I hope that really helped you understand the number system and how valuable it can be, especially when you're playing with different bands and different people. Now you'll be able to adjust whenever someone changes a key. Now you'll know what people are talking about when they say, hey, play a 1. Hey, this is a minor of 6. You'll understand what that is now, and you'll be able to get through songs a lot easier and with more confidence. So I hope that helps you, and we'll see you next time.